Hello, hello, everybody. Hello. Think I'm good. Hope everybody's doing well today. We are here live to basically run through as quickly as possible, roughly a 20 to 30-minute stream to talk about my thoughts and your thoughts on episode 7 from this past Tuesday, Dreams and Madness. It was a fun episode. Really enjoyed most of it. There were a couple of parts that I was just like, ugh. But other than that, it was a fairly decent episode this week. But like I said, I'm going to but yeah, let's dive into it. I'm gonna try to go as quickly as possible today. I'm just gonna pull up the first image and let's get started. Like I said, I hope everybody's week has been good. The weekend is here for those of us who are off. The next 48 hours. But let's go. We're diving into it right now. Just gotta send this quick text message. Well, by the way, let me get rid of the timer. Okay. But yeah, the opening. The opening with Coruscant here, where they showed Coruscant, was just cool. It's always cool to see Coruscant, right? Maybe one day we will get, more worlds. We always get like the core couple of worlds or whatever, right? But it is what it is. Um, um, so Hera, she was on trial basically, right? And possibly being suspended, permanently suspended basically. But it was more so about your boy here, Ziono. He was the hater. I kind of feel like I'm gonna be doing a video on this, but I kind of feel like he's a plant basically, because he's really, really coming against Ahsoka. Chancellor Mothma, she's been, more neutral than anything, trying to help, trying to, be understanding and listening and stuff like that. But your boy Ziono is just like, and I think in my recent video, I accidentally called him Zion, but he just was just hating on Hera the whole time. But we did see some other folks here. I did enjoy seeing the brother here and this person who kind of reminds me of the one character from Return of the Jedi who was with Lando on the Millennium Falcon. I did like seeing Carson pop in here, where him and Hera had something going on, and he basically shook his head to say no go, basically to say that, and he sat with Chopper. I have a meme that I grabbed, that I love so much, when it's pertaining to Chopper and Carson. But them just talking about them, more so, like I said, more so Ziono just up here just grilling Hera trying to basically tell the New Republic and him, it was prevalent, I take the blame, blah blah blah, like, but it was needed that we did indeed go about this mission, needed to happen, basically, right? But with that, this guy was just all over. He was just all on it, right? But then once he says, he says like, I vote that Hera be permanently suspended. Basically, that's when we have 3PO pop in. There was a rumor that 3PO was going to be in episode 7 this week that I randomly came across on social media. I was like, oh, one of those things where you're trying to avoid spoilers, but you can't. But 3PO pops in, and I do love that Mothma, when he went to go say, 3PO went to go say, like, my name is C, and then she finishes, she says 3PO, and that's when he's just like, Chancellor, it's good to see you, blah blah blah, I have an important message. And Ziono, what did he say? He said something rude about droids, and Chopper basically responded. There's a meme specifically that I grabbed in this moment that I thought was hilarious, but I love Chopper's response because he's cussing like crazy. Hey friend, hey, how are you? Hope you're doing well today. Welcome to the stream. Let me see. He had a point about them now being an organization, government with rules, but he really has it all. Yeah, definitely. Like I get both sides. You want some type of order, balance, and stuff like that. But at the same time, you still want to kind of trust some folks who have a gut feeling about something, and they go, and hopefully that gut feeling is right and true. But in this instance, he's really, really coming after Hera, like really coming after her. And I want to say that this is Akbar, but maybe not. I didn't check the credits, but it's possibly is Akbar here, sitting next to Ziono. It's just that, of course, this person doesn't have any lines. Technically, it was Mothma, Hera, and Ziono who all spoke. Nobody else spoke. Everybody was just like in there listening. And that kind of reminds me of like those meetings where you have management speaking. They ask people to say, have any questions. People want to say stuff, but they don't want to sound not smart with an idea or how they're feeling about the job or whatever. But I understand. But I love the fact that when they told Ziono, like, look, this is what Leia said, because that's what 3PO came to speak on. So what Leia said, as the leader of the defense council, that's when he just hushed his mouth, basically. And he was really just like upset. He's just like, oh, I gotta accept, this is what it is. But then we have the pull to the side of Mothma talking to Hera, and then she basically asks her, like, I don't know what you and Leia were up to, but she did say that Leia did indeed, Senator Leia did indeed step in to assist eventually, right? She used the word eventually. I thought that was hilarious. But then that's when Mothma asked her about the actual threat about Thrawn, and she's like, look, we need to really truly prepare, because it's real. Like, Thrawn is back and he's coming, basically. This is really the show letting us know that Thrawn is indeed coming, even though those of us fans know that he's coming back. But this moment here is more so prefacing the fact that he is on his way. It's just in due time. And then we get the Dreams and Madness opening spot. And of course, I love the Purgle. Love seeing them flying through hyperspace in their own way. And then I just love Ahsoka training. Now, originally, I didn't know, I was thinking like somebody was going to be coming to, like Hugh Ang or somebody was going to come. But once I saw the hologram, because I did talk about it in one of my videos, once I saw Anakin pop up, I was like, yes, I had a feeling that this indeed was going to happen, that we were going to see Anakin again. Now, could this be the last time we see him? Possibly. But they did, they always do this. They always have specific things in trailers that they filmed. They just didn't put in, they put it in the trailer, but they didn't put it in the actual scenes or movies or whatever. But when Anakin popped up and he started, saying the lines from the trailer, not all of them, but most of the lines, I was like, yes, we are getting the spot where Anakin was talking to Ahsoka. It sounded like he was training her, of course. Technically, he's basically kind of is here, and she is training, basically. He's, he's like doing a spill saying, hey, in this war, you're gonna come across trials, tribulations, and then of course he name drops not only Dooku, not only Grievous, but he name drops Asajj Ventress, and I literally, I felt like I wanted to scream again, because it was just like, yes, they name dropped her. They brought up Asajj. She is even more canon now within the Star Wars universe now, even more. To basically now she's live action canon, just with the name drop alone. I love that. I really, really love that. And I just love that, that Anakin was just like, he did. Now, I really, really want to hear and see the other 19 or 20 training recordings or whatever that he did. I truly do, honestly, just being honest. But we may never get those, because they probably didn't. They probably just did this one. Was just like, it's okay, you can have them. But again, like I said, I love seeing Anakin here. Ahsoka pausing, she bowed to him. And then he bowed, and then he went away. So it was just really, really just great to see Hayden Christensen here once again in Anakin form doing this thing. But then we get the very funny conversation between Ahsoka and Hugh Ang here. This was funny because she was basically toying with him. With Hugh Ang, this was funny because he was like saying, like, I told you, we shouldn't have did, we got into this purple. We don't know where it's going. I told you we shouldn't just trusted it and blah, blah, blah. But she just laughed it off. I just thought it was just hilarious. He was kind of upset. He even like lowered his head a little bit. But I just thought, really, I thought that this moment was just funny to me, because Ahsoka just got a laugh out of it. She was messing with him. And then once they get there, they arrive. Purgles, they arrive in fashion, which was cool. And then eventually we get what we get with, Thrawn setting up the Imperial mines outside, where they were hurting the Purgle. Basically, I didn't, of course, I didn't like it. I hope everybody didn't like this moment, because it sucked. Because they're hurting the Purgle. We don't want them to hurt. And then to find out last week, in last week's episode, this is where they come to basically pass away. But then I was kind of thinking, like, well, hold on, if they're coming here, and say Thrawn possibly had those mines set up even prior, maybe over the past however long, maybe Thrawn was killing the Purgle anyway. That's what I was thinking. But I don't want to assume that. I really don't want to sit up here and assume that that's the case. Like, I want to feel like Thrawn just said that he knew that Ahsoka and somebody or whomever was going to end up coming here, so that's why he ended up putting the mines out there just in these moments. So, but then we get the chase. We get them chasing them. I'm gonna skip through some of this stuff. I do like the spot that I got where they were chasing and then they fired. They barely missed the ship, but that's when they went into hiding. I think this is sort of it. Yeah, they were chasing them and stuff, but then that's when they went into hiding because of the fact that the debris. Ahsoka was like, we're gonna go into the debris. We got another shot of one of the Imperial people here. This was cool. Delamont, you say it was strategic sound, but yeah, definitely poor babies. Yeah, also reminded me of the Lion King when the elephant graveyard. Yeah, right. Lion King is my favorite Disney movie of all time. Not sure you would waste bombs killing them. Yeah, that's why I'm saying, like, I don't want to sit here and assume, like, because again, if the Purgles are going there to pass away, if that's like their actual place of their graves, basically, then I can accept that at least, but not so much to think like Thrawn had those mines sitting out there this whole time for, the past 10 years, basically. That's what I don't want to sit here and just assume that that's the case. So then we get a shot of our beautiful Chimera ship, and then we get the key conversation. When Thrawn arrives, Elsbeth hands over this iPad, right? That's basically what it looks like, right? And he holds it, he looks at it. I should have grabbed it. I wasn't thinking. I was doing all of my screenshots last night, and I thought about it, but it didn't. I was tired when I was putting all this stuff together. So I should have, maybe in another stream. Maybe I still will do it. But I should have put up his reaction, like recorded it. But it's just the facial response when he turns to Morgan. It's a slight pause, and then that's when he asks, like, Anakin Skywalker was Ahsoka's master. Oh man, she's like, yeah. It was just, and then he walked away to kind of like gather himself. I really just thought that was just super funny, and I see a lot of the memes and the posts and stuff like that on social media. It's just hilarious. It's just really just hilarious, right? But at the end of the day, he collected himself, and he says, all right, look, we're gonna do this now, since Ahsoka has officially arrived. And then we get, which is just a minor thing for me, we get this moment here with Ezra and Sabine in the next scene, which I enjoyed. It's not like I didn't enjoy this spot with them. They were having, they were catching up. They were, they haven't seen each other in definitely a decade. They're having conversations because, in last week's episode, Sabine had asked, how did you get here? When did you get, all this stuff? And she's just like, well, and I love the Nalty. I really do love the Nalty, right? But she turns him down on responding, but, with that, this conversation didn't even dive into. I felt like Sabine could have still mentioned the fact that, hey, this is what's really been going on over the past month, couple of months or whatever. This is why we're here. This is why I'm here. We came to look to try to possibly even stop from not even arriving here. There was a choice that I made. But I get it. She feels guilty. She does feel guilty for even making this decision. But to hand over the map and stuff like that. But again, she could have in this moment said to, because at the same time, outside of everything else, there's really technically nothing else that Ezra could do after he tells her. I mean, after she tells him, you know, what's really going on, like Thrawn, the whole situation, Ahsoka possibly being gone, you know, but that just doesn't, that's one little small thing that I didn't really particularly, because, you know, because she didn't say anything to him. And so I feel like she had, this was the perfect moment. Like, yes, it could possibly even ruin this space of enjoyment and stuff that they have with each other, because they've been back together for roughly a day, but there's still crucial stuff that still is going on, you know what I'm saying? So that's why I feel like they should have had Sabine tell Ezra here. And then we get the Baylan Shin conversation here, which, like, I did do a video for that for today, where I am in total shock, like I talked about in the video, where Baylan literally basically tells Shin, like, hey, I'm releasing you. You're no longer my Padawan, basically. You know, there's nothing else I can teach you. Our pathways are different right now. You are gonna go on ahead and go help Thrawn, join the Empire. I'm gonna stay behind. You know, my basically saying, like, saying the Force has something else for me to do. Of course he's saying, like, he doesn't know what, and of course we know why. Una Fearless, hello. General Grievous. How are you? General Kenobi, how are you? But again, you could see it on her face. You can see that she's very sad. She's disappointed. She's hurt. The fact that he's letting her go to go do her, you know, to go do this. Again, I personally, to be honest, guys, I thought that they were going to stick around with each other. We were going to get to see this power that he's been talking about. I talked about it in another video where I felt like she doesn't believe in Baylan's goal-oriented, centered space right now, and once she would see that power, then she would believe. But I honestly, now that I'm looking back at this, you know, at the moments, the build up to this moment here, I do believe that Baylan had made this decision not on the fly, but it was just something that he was constantly thinking about over time, where he just felt like he just couldn't have her by him any longer. And maybe it occurred back in episode 5 when Ahsoka took her down. Maybe that was really technically the beginning of him saying, like, all right, I need to kind of just, like, really think about continuing to keep Shin with me by my side. I was kind of shocked when Baylan released Shin just like that. This is strange. And yeah, definitely, yeah, same thing. Like I said, same thing, same here. I'm still shocked by the fact that he decided to say, hey, go join the Empire. You know what I mean? So then we get, you know, Thrawn and them, they're setting up to get ready to send troopers out. They are heading towards, you know, the battlefield, basically. And they get on the ships. They're heading down to the surface, which was cool to see. But I honestly, with the troopers, were, like many people were saying, and maybe it's still a thing because of those coffins. Maybe that's what those coffins are. Maybe there's bodies in there that are not alive, that maybe going to look to, maybe Thrawn is indeed still going to be looking to have a zombified death trooper thing. But but that the current troopers that he has under him are just regular human beings, because the ones that did get taken out in the episode, none of the green stuff came out of the suits, out of the armor, none. So that lets us know, like, oh, they weren't zombified death troopers, they were just regular humans. So maybe maybe those coffins are something different. But then we get the actual chase. This chase was actually posted on social media roughly, I want to say, 6 hours before the episode dropped. They gave us a sneak peek, the conversation with Ezra and Sabine talking about the Naughty and how peaceful they were. They gave us a brief, like, 40-second, 50-second thing online, so which was cool. I enjoyed that little spot to kind of it definitely got me hyped up to be like, okay, it's about to go down. It'll be here before we know. Let me see, I done lost my place. Oh, here we go. But as always, I enjoyed the Naughty. I love the fact that they definitely gave one of them. I don't know about any other Naughty. Let me see if I can find it. I know I grabbed it though. I thought I had it. Hold on. I don't have it. One of them had the slingshot. I could have sworn I grabbed the screenshot for it. I thought I did, but I guess I didn't. But I love that. That was more so like a, like a little small homage to. Here it goes. I got it. This is just a homage to Ezra, basically, because we know that he did indeed use a slingshot back in Rebels. So I just love this spot here. But then eventually they decide to circle up, which was, maybe a little bit smart, but at the same time kind of technically wasn't smart. But at the same time, they really didn't have anywhere else to go, because it seemed like it was just an endless thing where there was no mountains, no caves or anything really nearby, so they had no choice. And then we get Ahsoka landing a little bit later, and then we have basically the rematch, which I did indeed enjoy. Some fans are not liking the fact that this fight went the way that it went, but I enjoyed the fight. I really did. It was cool to see them fight again, because I really did have a feeling that they were going to have a rematch and fight again one more time. But again, I did feel, though, that Balin wasn't gonna, if he was gonna lose, that he wasn't going to get taken out. That's what I'm trying to say. But Ahsoka did look just like, they both technically, but Ahsoka did look kind of beautiful with her stances, how she was standing with her form. I did like that part in the episode, and just this shot here, even before they even pulled their lightsabers out, and then when they did, it was just cool. And then we get this, which is still, it's hilarious, but at the same time, I didn't like it. I know I talked about it in my both my Thrawn group chats for the spoiler chats, versus talking about it in the main Thrawn group pages, that this was funny. I'm not saying that the spot with Sabine with the lightsaber, I'm not sitting here saying that this wasn't meant to happen, that it shouldn't have happened. It should have. It's been 10 years. Ezra's been here. Yes, resources are still lacking certain things, and I was kind of wondering if while he was here, maybe he created himself a lightsaber. I'm sorry, Delamont, you said nice to have some comic cuteness with the crab people. Yes, to balance out. Yes, I loved it. Just like the exactly, just like the Ewoks. Yes, indeed, you are correct. I love the Ewoks a lot. But when Ezra says, I can rely on the Force, right? I can rely on the Force, and so there were rumors. Another rumor that I came across. Again, I don't search for them. I don't look for them. Sometimes when I'm just scrolling social media in general, I come across stuff that it's possible that it's true, but I take a lot of stuff with a grain of salt. And basically one of the rumors was that Ezra was using Force karate in, the show, which I technically don't mind, because technically there are Sith, there are Jedi that use the Force with their body. They have sets of skills outside of their lightsaber, besides just that weapon. They do use different forms of karate, jujutsu, and stuff like that. They use those forms. They're just called something different, basically. But to see Ezra use this, it was just like, it was cool, but at the same time, it wasn't like captivating for me. It wasn't like, oh, that was dope, like that was super cool, like, for a kid, for a child, they would view that as, because their minds aren't thinking on the lines of an adult of really having a critique about it. Most kids, they see the stuff and they're just like, that's cool, like Ezra knows how to use karate, blah blah blah. Una, you said, I noticed that ever since Ahsoka had her lesson with Anakin and has a different stance with fights. Yeah, she's sort of more defensive. She's different since. Yeah, I kind of felt like she was gonna move differently too. Besides becoming Ahsoka the White, just having the look of it, it was more so going to be something added to her way. But like I said, just to see Ezra do this was cool, but it wasn't like, it didn't like have me sitting there just like, yo, like this is one of the dopest stuff ever type of stuff. Like, nah, it was just like a regular thing that he was doing that a lot of other Jedi, a lot of other Sith do anyway. Sabine was doing her thing. She was kind of getting hurt a little bit, but that's been happening with her character a few times in the past too. So, but it's just cool to see that she's not defenseless. That she can still handle herself while on the battlefield. And then we get more Ahsoka and Baylan fighting, which again, like the fight scene here was cool, just to see them back at it again. And I want to kind of I kind of felt like Baylan was a little bit more on the defensive side of things as well in this fight, just being honest. Not so much just Ahsoka. I kind of felt like Baylan was defensive too, because he was doing a couple of extra lightsabers behind, putting his lightsaber behind him because she was coming forward with a roundabout attack. And they do love to do this a lot. The one thing I didn't notice though is in this fight, remember in episode 5, in their original fight, there was a lot of sparks flying, a lot of lightsaber sparks flying, even with Sabine and Shin, a lot of sparks, you know what I mean? But this time it was just the flashiness, it was just flash whenever their lightsabers connected. So they went back to how it normally would look back in like the OT, back in the prequels, and even including the sequels trilogy. So that's just something that they decided to just switch up and change back to the original stuff, which was just like, it was an interesting spot that I noticed. But like I said, Ezra just doing the regular force karate was just like it was cool. It just wasn't. It didn't like catch me. And then that's when we have. I thought I caught it, but I didn't. But we have Shin popping up. She tried to take Ezra out, took out a little bit of his hair on the top of his head, but that was about it. Um, and they also did the force block. They decided to put that in there. This was cool. Last time we saw this was in the Kenobi series with Obi-Wan and Anakin as Vader, so that was cool. I liked this part, but I didn't like this part when Sabine basically told Ezra to go after, to take her down. She easily tosses Ezra with the Force. That's another thing that I felt like shouldn't have really occurred, because Ezra's been here for 10 years. He's said, he's letting us fans know like he trusts the Force. Seems to kind of let me know like, okay, he's gotten better, but that's not the case. Just more so on a comedic side with his character, which is fine. It's not too bad. That's not what I'm trying to say. Like, it's horrible that Ezra hasn't gotten stronger in the Force to the point that he can't be hurt. But I was a little taken aback by this part. But it was more so on the comedic side. So, which is still, again, it's still fun. And, Ahsoka and Baylan still fighting. And that's when he grabbed her lightsaber, just saying like, you can't defeat me. She said maybe, probably not, but that's pretty much not the reason why, I didn't do this or whatever occurred. It was more so to have Huang come in and be a distraction so she could get away. She could run off. And Baylan just looks upon and just shakes his head like, okay, all right. Una said Ezra had a lot of time practicing his Force abilities without weapons. Yeah, maybe even Kanan's Force Ghost trained him. I don't know. Just a thought. Could be the case, possibly. Maybe Kanan popped up. Maybe. But I did like the spot here where he was just like, get back in there, stay safe, don't come back out. I did like that part. And then we get Thrawn with his tactical stuff, doing his tactical thing. Our Grand Admiral, my Grand Admiral, he's doing his thing, setting it all up just to do what? A lot of fans, there are fans out there that don't like this part. They feel like Thrawn was wasting his time doing this, but I felt like that's not the case. Yeah, Sabine and Shin do fight. She does knock her down. Ezra grabs Sabine with the Force and pulls her away, which was cool. I didn't mind that part at all. I like that part too. Yeah, they really are a naughty. They really are. Where are you? Where'd it go? Okay. Yeah, pulls her and then she uses the flamethrower. I did like this part when he pulls her away and she uses her flamethrower to try to do some damage on Shin. Excuse me, not practicing against another Force user for ages. He used to his opponents having weapons, so he kind of taken by surprise. Yeah, I don't mind. I'm not sitting there like saying like he can't be damaged, can't be hurt. But I guess I was just more so just like sort of was hoping that he could have possibly done a bit better. But you know, I like I said, I felt like more so it was just the comedic side for the kids, basically, to say like, oh, he's not, you know, he's strong, but he's not that strong, you know. Let me see. So Shin, and then that's when we get Ahsoka finally popping up. I do like this part too. Another comedic spot where when the soldiers come, Shin's like, take them down, and then that's when Ezra's like, you know, or you could take us as prisoners. Take us as prisoners. But then Ahsoka pops up, which I loved a lot too. Hold on. What did you say? I agree. I wanted cooler fighting from him, but it's a letdown after final Rebels where he was a great A. Yeah, he was. He was dope. Where am I at? Yeah. He said that spot. And then, like I said, Ahsoka pops up. She's here to basically save them. And she does her own force push. To take Shin out down. Dasky Monster, hello, how are you? Welcome back. Hope you're doing well today. And we get them fighting some more and taking the soldiers down and sorry, I'm responding to a message. We do, but this part I laughed, but at the same time I was just like, no. He said he trusted the Force. He didn't need to use a gun. Ezra, no. Using the gun is beneath you now. That's what I was thinking. I thought it was hilarious. It was just like, wait, you said you said you didn't need to use a weapon anymore. But like I said, I thought it was funny. It was just like, it's like, oh, he's using the gun anyway, so he can't fully rely on the Force all like that, like he said. But ultimately, Thrawn was basically buying time. Some fans didn't like this part. They felt like, why would Thrawn do that? You know, this is just showing his tactical genius. He was doing it for a reason. Cause Ahsoka and her people to lose out on precious time. Slow them down so that they can get the coffins on the ship and they can basically get ready to leave. I'm doing good. Hope you're doing well. Hope everybody else is doing well. Thank you all for stopping to the stream today. But you know, like I said, some fans are questioning this live action version of Thrawn. But like I've always stated, you know, Thrawn technically is Mr. Zahn, Timothy Zahn, the creator of the character. Thrawn technically is the same Thrawn from the original books to the canon books to Rebels and even now in live action form. So the decisions that he makes are beneficial. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, it's tactical. So for him to do what he did is needed. So now Shin. Honestly, I feel like she possibly will, because if to me it seems like Ahsoka knows something's up she can tell within the Force. Honestly, just being honest, I feel like Ahsoka could tell in the Force that there is some doubt really rolling through Shin's mind about the side that she's on, which is Thrawn and the Empire. Maybe Shin will possibly join their side. I did do a video on this talking about where I felt like Shin was going to turn her back on Baylan and possibly join Ezra, Ahsoka, Sabine, come to the light side of the Force. So I'm just like, you know what I mean? I'm like, maybe possibly that might happen. She does run off. And, they basically, they're back together as they are prepping to figure some stuff out. Because technically, Ahsoka and Sabine have to have a heart-to-heart about what occurred back in episode 5. And Sabine needs to kind of bring up the speed, basically Ahsoka and yeah, she did look like she was gonna cry, right? Yeah, same. Right. But Shin wasn't brought up in the temple though. That's the thing. She wasn't, so yeah. But that's pretty much the episode, guys. Hadi is the Wolf Norse, yeah. Indeed. But that's the episode. I think it was like 39 minutes long. Hopefully episode 8, the finale, is like 50 plus, maybe an hour. That's after credits. Where we get this big thing. And again, honestly, guys, just being honest, this is called the Ahsoka series. And it kind of felt like it was more so like the Sabine Wren series at the beginning, right? But it did eventually shift. It shifted to Baylan being the focal point of the series a lot. He's been talking about this power. I'm going to do a video too. He's been talking about this power, but we haven't seen any. We've gotten hints. I would say we've gotten hints from the castle from episode 6. At least possible hints. This is just us theorizing and thinking that, there's this deity, this force god out there that Baylan is gonna go search for, find, and gain access to. Possibly a temple, Sith temple, Jedi temple. Something is here on Peridia to where Baylan's gonna go, and we will see. That'll be like a movie length, Dasky, but which I wouldn't mind, but and that would be like 500, 600 screenshots from my end. I usually do about like over 200 screenshots, and some of the screenshots I don't even really share technically during these streams, but I do use some of them for my thumbnails though. But I want to say that Baylan is we're gonna finally get the answer that we've been wondering about, because I kind of felt like it should have had at least a part of it or something something pinpointing where this power is coming from should have happened within the past 2 weeks. Technically between episode 6 and episode 7 this week. In between there should have been some type of very small actual thing that Balin gained to where he's going to now go search for this power and find it, gain it, at least gain it, at least give it to him, and then let us fans know that he survived the show, and then they were prepping to more than likely bring him on in the movie, the Filoni movie, that's more likely going to come out in a couple of years. So that's why I'm saying Balin has become literally like my favorite character in the entire show. So yeah, but I'm still leaning towards Sabine using the Force, at least now in the finale, since she hasn't used it. She technically used it in episode 4. She did when she went like this. There was a slight sound. Shin did move. She felt the little push. She moved because originally I thought that she threw a rock at her, but that's not the case. She did use the Force, just a smidge, just a pinch of a pinch of salt of Force push on Shin in episode 4. Go back and really listen to the sound. You'll be able to hear it. So they're gonna push for Shin to be Force sensitive. Something's going to occur, more than likely in the finale. I'm going to talk about this in the prediction stream on Tuesday, just before episode 8 arrives. And they are going to show us Sabine being another Mandalorian Force user. Yet another. So yeah, I truly do believe that we're going to get Balin doing his thing. We're going to get Sabine using the Force before the film. Will we know who's under the Enoch mask? I mean, technically we know who the actor is, right? But will we actually see that occur? Maybe, maybe not. Probably see Enoch fight in the finale, more than likely. But like I said, also too, those troopers are human. They're not death troopers, but more than likely the actual death troopers are going to be coming. That's like basically in the finale. More than likely the Night Sisters will look to raise a few of them to use against Ahsoka, Sabine, and Ezra in the finale. So yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed most of the episode. Like I said, just the small stuff that I talked about with Ezra, and like I said, the conversation with Sabine and Ezra, I kind of felt like that should have been something that they should have at least touched on. That didn't occur, and I, like I said, I really was hoping that Ezra was gonna be a little bit stronger in the Force. Not saying that he couldn't get hurt. Like I said, I'm not saying he couldn't get hurt. Not saying he's invincible or anything, but definitely, yeah. So maybe not yet, but I think that they hired a known actor to just be a hidden body role. He'll take it off someday, yeah. Like I said, I believe it is the actor from The Expanse, the show called The Expanse. If you've never watched The Expanse, and of course you're a Star Wars fan, you love outer space shows and stuff like that, I highly recommend The Expanse. I just have to finish it. I think, if I remember correctly, I was on like the final season, or I was on the season prior to the final season, but I was heavily enthralled in that show until life happened, and I stopped, and now I gotta pick it back up because it did finalize like a year or two ago. So definitely check that one out. Check out, if you have never heard of the show called Dark Matters, 2 seasons. It got canceled during the second season because the actors couldn't come to an agreement as far as money is concerned, and they just like basically just quit. Basically, they were upset, and I'm like, I understand. Like, you know what I mean? You're not, you know, they just wanted a little bit extra money. They weren't willing to pay them, and they were just like, oh, well, we're just not gonna just come to work anymore. And then they just canceled the show. So it was just like I was upset because yeah, season 2 was good. It was great actually. But Dark Matter, check that out, and I would say check out Foundation if you haven't watched that either. I'm still super early in that. It's another like futuristic outer space show. I think it's 2 seasons now, but check that one out. It might interest you. But yeah, the guy from The Expanse, I forgot his name currently, but he's supposed to be the one that's playing Enoch in Ahsoka series. So with that, give me a quick rating for episode 7 for this week, Dreams and Madness. I give it a 9 out of 10. What do you rate it? 1 to 10, what do you rate it? Oh. Buddy of mine, he lives in, I think he lives in Maryland. Yeah, he lives in Baltimore. He just put a post on social media saying that lantern flies, those new bugs, are in his possible neighborhood or something. Just put a post up. But yeah, 8 out of 10 for Una. Nice, good, great rating actually. So just to let y'all know, something I'm gonna be looking to do. I'm leaning towards doing a live stream of these, but maybe still cover them in videos. I'm gonna be looking to do, this is what I'm thinking about doing, live stream, doing live streams of us actually talking about the many glorious chapters of the Thrawn books, all of them, every last one. We sit, we read the chapter or a couple of chapters or something or whatever, and we just share our thoughts, our love, our disagreements, our criticisms, our thoughts, opinions, all of that on the books. That's what I want to do. That is what I want to do. What do y'all think? Let me know. Like I said, I'm more so leaning towards stream just because it broadens what gives me more space to be able to really talk about what I'm thinking. Because if I put it in a video, it's going to be roughly like 15 minutes long, 20 minutes long, and some people may not want to watch those type of videos. But if I do it in a stream, that could be, you know, 30 minutes, you know what I mean? Maybe longer if people are engaging. Because again, these streams only go but so far and but so long, depending on who's here with me to share their thoughts and views on the topic at hand. Okay, so yeah, that's what I'm planning to do. So, but that's technically my thoughts on episode 7. Can't wait for the finale. Like I said, the prediction stream will happen around 8 p.m. or 8:30, or before 8:30, something like that. Before episode 8 arrives on Tuesday night. And as always, I will then, because I'll be recording the episode while watching it, and then I'll dive right into my roughly 2 videos for the 2 days to come. And then when I get home Wednesday, I will then dive into working on another set of videos and stuff for Friday and Saturday and stuff like that. But yeah, I enjoyed the episode a lot, and I can't wait for what's to come. Do a lot of reading. You have 6 books, the old trilogy, the new one. Only read the first 2. Well, it's fine. That's fine, and it's okay. You know, you read them in your own time. You know, I'm thinking how I want to do. I'm still thinking of how I want to do it. What, you know, do I want to start with the original trilogy, or do I want to start with the canon? That's just something that I'm trying to really ponder. What I want to do. But I'll probably put something in the community tab, see what people think. Because usually, as a veteran Star Wars fan such as myself, that I usually encourage people when they dive into Star Wars, anything, start with the release date of said, you know, the timeline, the build-up. Well, what, you know, if you got a prequel first and then got the main stuff next, then do it in that order. So since we had, with the movies, since we got the originals first, episodes 4, 5, and 6 first, I usually encourage people to just go ahead and watch the 70s and 80s movies and then dive into the prequels. And if you want to touch the sequels, by all means, have at it. Hopefully you like it. I didn't, but I didn't really like the sequels at all. But as always, I'm not somebody who's like, sequels are horrifying, you shouldn't watch. Like, no, I encourage people to check them out, because they just may like it. Even if it's just liking it, they may not love it, but they may like the sequels. Because at the end of the day, they're a Star Wars fan. At the end of the day, who am I to say that they're not, just because they, you know, like the sequels and I didn't? Like, no, we don't gatekeep over in this house. You know, so that's not what we do. But yeah. So I might start with the originals first, and then go with the canon, the Ascendancy. But either way, those 6 are really, really great. And then we have the non-trilogy Thrawn Alliances and Treason books that we're going to be diving into as well. And we are going to touch the anthology books too, the 2 anthology books as well. We're not going to leave those out at all. But I'm getting ready to go. Enjoyed the stream today. We had a lot of fun. This was fun. I might not be able to do a video this weekend. I was going to try to do one for tomorrow, but doesn't look like it's going to happen. We'll see what happens. See if I can squeeze it in. I'll try to put one out for, if not the weekend, probably Monday at best. But definitely look out for the live stream for the finale, for the prediction stream for Tuesday. Like I said, around 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which will be 7:30, 6:30 Pacific or Central Time, your time. We will discuss for roughly 20 plus minutes our predictions for the finale, and go from there and get ready to see if this is a 50 plus minute long finale. I'm hopeful. But with that, I'm out, guys. Thank you all. Una, Ella Demont, Thanks, girl. Appreciate you as always. I'll be messaging you in a little bit. Dasky Monster. Everybody, thanks for popping in. I'm trying to look and see if I had anybody else that may have popped in and I missed their message. No, it's just a few of you, which is fine. But I am out. Definitely hope you all stay safe, stay humble, enjoy your weekend. Hope you and your family have a wonderful and safe and very humbling weekend to come. And I will hopefully, as always, talk to you all on another video and or live stream. Star Wars will always continue to live on in my heart, and hopefully will continue to live on in yours. But I will talk to you all hopefully in another video or stream to come soon. And remember, the Force will be with you always. Peace.